Hello and welcome to another Every Tuesday kind of tutorial. Today I'm very excited to announce my newest Skillshare class, Watercolor Textures for Graphic Design. So today I want to share the trailer for that class and also something I've never done before. I'm sharing one of the videos from the actual class that you would not have access to unless you were enrolled in the class. So I wanted to share that today, and then at the end of the video there will be a link for the class, and if you've never tried out Skillshare before, that link will allow you to get the entire class for free and any other class that you'd like to watch for 30 days, no obligation at all. So without further ado, Watercolor Textures for Graphic Design. Who doesn't love the vibrancy, the handmade feel, and the punch of color that watercolor textures provide in graphic design? They seem to be everywhere these days, from business cards to full stationery sets, web graphics, social media posts, to even logos. Check out my watercolor branding class for that one. My name is Tila Cunningham, and I love incorporating watercolor textures into such a structured environment like graphic design. In this class, I'll walk you through my process for creating the watercolor textures from scratch, the exact scan settings I use to scan them into the computer, enhancing color and vibrancy in Photoshop, and even removing their background so you can place them on any color background that you choose. At the end of this class, we'll even create a seamless, repeatable texture pattern so you can apply your texture to typography, vector elements, or backgrounds with just a couple of clicks. As a bonus, I'm including a free PDF with links to every supply and product mentioned throughout the entire class, so you'll have everything you need to create your own digital watercolor textures for graphic design. Hit enroll and grab a brush. So in this video, I want to walk you through how I use the Pentel tube watercolors to create watercolor textures. And I've found that softer textures and color streaked textures work really well with the Pentel watercolor. So I want to show you exactly how I create those kinds of textures. And I'm using the Strathmore watercolor paper for this one, since I typically use a little more water with the Pentels than I do with the PH Martins. I've got my paper towel, my 12 round brush, and I've got my paint palette. I've got some watercolors already in there, and I've also grabbed my masking tape for this video just to kind of show you if you get kind of annoyed by how the paper might be bowing or bending or swelling. A nice way to kind of keep everything really balanced and even as your water kind of builds up is to just tape down the corners of your paper, and that will keep it a little more even so you don't get these huge areas where the water pools up. So this is just plain old artist masking tape, and I just grab the corners and then I'm ready to go. Okay, so the first one that I want to go over is the softer texture, so it's kind of a natural gradient as you work your way down. So I'm going to use this teal color for this one. So I'm getting my brush nice and wet, waking up my watercolors a little bit since they were getting a little dry. And then all I do is draw a streak across, and then I kind of bring it down. Nice and easy, nothing crazy about this. And then I'll dip in the water and I'll just start creating this natural gradient with the water. So I'll keep the majority of my color up towards the top, and as I work my way down, I'll bring in more water just to kind of soften it. Okay, so that's looking really good, and this is where I'll bring in an extra color. Like I mentioned in the last video, I usually stick between 3 and 4 colors. Sometimes I only do 2. Anything more than 4 can get pretty muddy. So I'm just going to bring in this cobalt blue and just grab a few areas where I think it would look pretty to have a little extra color in here. And then I just kind of dab around to blend, because I already have a lot of water on the paper. And as that dries, I'll get some really nice textures going in there. And you can kind of see the texture of the actual paper coming through as well. I'm just going to put a couple of dabs of water on here. All right, so the next one I want to share is how to create those color streaked watercolor textures. So for this one, I'm going to grab some more vibrant colors. So I'm going to start and lay a base of let's do red purple for this one. And all I'm going to do is same thing we did with the soft watercolor, only I want an even amount of color all the way through. So I don't want it to naturally get softer at the bottom. I want everything to be an even color all the way through. So I'll use a lot more actual watercolor on here than water. And I like these kind of brushed edges on the sides because sometimes I use those and kind of crop them off of designs. Nice kind of painterly effect. Okay, so that's looking pretty even. So now I will grab another color. So I'm going to grab orange right here. And to do the streak, I'll dilute it a good amount. And then I'll just throw in a line in some different places. And if I want it a little darker, I'll add it a little more. If I want to dilute it at all, all I have to do is dab it with a little water here and there, and that'll kind of break it up so it's not super obvious. I'm going to bring in a little bit of red too. So as these dry, I'm going to get some nice texture in here where they're kind of hitting each other. So that's how I create soft and streaked watercolor textures using the Pentel watercolors. And in the next video, we're going to scan everything we just created into the computer and we'll take it from there.